So let's talk about something important that you guys need to know. It's called inverter clipping. Inverter clipping or inverter saturation occurs when the DC power from the PV array exceeds the inverter's maximum input rating. The inverter may adjust the DC voltage to reduce the input power. That's increasing the voltage and reducing the DC current. Alternatively, the inverter may restrict or throttle the inverter's AC output. So you can see at the very top of this graph that we have an inverter clipping right at the very top. So how often does this happen? Well, in properly designed systems, clipping occurs for a small percentage of each sunny day. So energy loss due to clipping is minimal. In the test shown, it occurs about 8.8% of sunny days. Clipping depends on your location, the latitude, and the size of your solar panel array compared to the AC output of the inverter. No clipping doesn't damage the solar array or the inverter. So the electricity gained at the beginning and the end of the day generally outweighs the clipping losses. So even though it can happen, doesn't mean it's going to completely destroy a customer's production. If it's improperly designed, that can cause a big problem with the customers. So when reviewing these solar proposals, it's making sure that the right size inverter is put together with the right size system. So here's an example of some clipping over 30 days. There wasn't much of it, but there was some. Now, is it normal? Nope. It is not normal. Some systems may clip and others may not. It's simply a difference between how much solar power you have available and how much you can process. The size of the system of the inverter relative to the solar system must be properly sized. Whether you're building a system on a string, microinverter, or optimized, an improperly designed system may clip, therefore not produce the promised annual kilowatt hour production. Now, it's important to understand that all the microinverters have certain maximum output ratings, and when the panel output exceeds this maximum output value, it leads to clipping. So, yes, microinverters will clip. During clipping, excess power is curtailed and limited to the maximum output power rating of the microinverter in consideration. So, really important, just because it's a microinverter and that inverter only handles the conversion of the power of that one panel doesn't mean it's clipping proof. So in the end, clipping will be something that the customer won't even notice or really even affect their production on an annual scale if this is taken into consideration during the design process. So when does a customer notice? If there's use of inferior equipment or it's a cost-focused build, the customer's solar function will suffer. It's making sure that the right equipment is being used, the right size systems are being used, and everything is being taken into consideration prior to installation.